justice to this interview than Mr. Chabanya Kantiok. So, Mr. Chabanya Kantiok, let's have a look of 2024 generally. How will you describe the year 2024?
2024 has been a difficult year with the impact of the government. To some people, it's negative. To some people, it's positive. But entirely, we have to look at it in general. In general, 2024, like I said earlier, has been a difficult year. From the decision taken by the government and other activities, primarily the decision taken on petroleum, the hike in price, up from how will I put it? You just sleep today,
2023.
you wake up the next morning, you hear that the price of oil is up. The next day again. So it has been a difficult day, but thank God Nigerians, we are very strong. Anywhere you put us, we will survive. So I think 2024 has been a difficult year for some of us.
Wow, 2024 has been a difficult year for some of us. You talked about the petrol and the rest of them, but that's for another day discussion. Let's go to our topic for today, talking about rule of law. In every democracy, like I earlier said, there must be rule of law. Once you take away the rule of law, then you are already operating a dictatorship or
Yeah.
authoritarian system of government. So what were the highlights
Yes.
for you in 2024? There seems to be protests and the rest of them. Were there infringement of people's rights during these protests? Did we see rule of law play in 2024?
Okay. First of all, for our viewers, um, for the benefit of those that don't know what rule of law is, for us to have a rule of law, there are three elements. So I want to say the foundation, very important. There are 3 to 4 elements that make up the rule of law. One, we have accountability. Accountability. Two, we have open government. Open government in the sense that we, the citizens, have our say, and our say should have an impact in the government of the day. Then three, we have what? Just law. Then the four, we have accessibility and impartial justice. Accessibility and impartial what? Justice. So in 2024, we have things that happen in 2024. So all they revolve around this 4 elements. We know that the government things happen in 2024, like the protests in 2024, bad governance. So there are some people that were affected. We know that it is the right of the citizens to what? To protest, to have a peaceful protest, which is also part of what? The rule of law. If the government will allow its citizens to have a peaceful protest, it is also what? The rule of law. But in such a way, in a situation whereby the government denied its citizens for a free word protest, peaceful protest, then the right of that citizen has been what? Tempered with. We saw in Kano, we saw in Kaduna how some citizens were shot dead. Were shot dead because they went on the street and holding a placard saying that they need what? They need the government to go because the government are not doing what they are supposed to do. So in this situation, if rule of law is 100% in place, no citizen will be what? No citizen will have that fear to go out and say what you're supposed to say. So from the protests, there are whereby citizens they were shot using tear gas. Some they used tear gas on them. So I think it's one of the most important thing that happened in 2024 that tempered with the rule of law.
Thank you very much. That you talked about the protest and when people are not allowed to express themselves because this thing, peaceful protest is enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and every citizen has a
Yes.
right to assemble, to demand for their rights. So you talk about people being shot and tear gas were used on the protesters. How will you rate the Nigerian police in the the August 1 protest, 2024?
Yeah. The Nigerian police in the 2024, shall I say, bad governance protests, they played their part. I think the Nigerian police need to be retrained on how to go about tackling this type of things. Let's look at the outside world, how they control protests. I said earlier that protest is a constitutional right of the citizen to protest. So when the citizens are saying what is right, and the government feel that the citizens are trying to overstep their boundary, and the police, I don't think the president will go and tell them that, please, these people, if they are trying to do this, they are trying to do that, shut them. No. But some of them, they do it because they are not trained. They are not well trained. Somebody that will just finish secondary school because there's no admission in the didn't got admission in the university, he will just apply to be a police officer. After a few months of training, he will be given gun and uniform to stand on the street. I think that time that they spend doing the physical training, they need to have the class training. They need to undergo good lessons in order to be able to know how to control people. Because they said police is your friend, but now police is not our friend. Police will meet you around 10 p.m. Police will stop you and tell you, okay, enter this car. Once you enter the car, they will take you to police station. When you reach the police station, they will ask you to pay for the For the taxi or for the bus that you enter. Because they said you
They
late,
transported you.
you stayed late. I get in it. So during this protest, I was so annoyed. There was a guy close to me. I just went to town to get something, which is very important to me that I must get. This guy was holding a placard with he didn't utter a word. He was just walking quietly. A police officer came and knocked him behind with his gun. So what is that? If we are to have security agents, I feel the military, I need to give them a thumbs up. They were friends of what? Of these protesters during the protest. If the police will do like the military, I think things will be fine. Things will be fine in the country. So it is the right of the citizen to protest. If you don't protest, the government will not do what they are supposed to do because we need to put them on their toes.
Okay, so in a nutshell, you're actually saying the Nigerian police officers need to be retrained and retrained all over again. That's the
Yes.
bottom line of what you are saying. And you
Yeah.
you made mention of the military. During the protests, we saw young children coming out to protest and carrying Russian flag, as many people claim to be. Other people have said is the Nigerian military flag. Other people say is Russian flag. Now, in some cases, like you said, when the military officers showed up, the citizens were celebrating them, calling them to come and take power.
Yeah.
Will that not be treasonable offense when citizens call on the military to take over power from an elected government?
No, I will not support that. I will not support that 100 times because this is democracy. We've been yearning to have democracy. Those that did not those that were not born during the military regime will not understand the difference between democracy and what and the military. Yes, we know that during the military regime, decisions were taken without much time. When the military said, do this, you have to do it. When they said the price of maize should be 100 naira, it will be 100 naira. But coming back to democracy, there are some benefits. There are some benefits we, the citizens, have, which is also what the rule of law. During the military, there's nothing like rule of law. The power is with the military. Everything is with the military. But the democracy, we have a particular party that is on power, and we have other parties that stands as a watchdog.
Opposition party and watchdog.
Opposition party.
Nice word to
Yes,
use. Yeah.
opposition. Yes.
No, I mean
Opposition
the
what?
watchdog that
Party.
you use is actually very correct.
Yeah. Okay. So I am not supporting what those little children, more especially if you come to around Zaria, around Kano, you see these children that are underage, 6, 8, coming out with Russian flag.
But
there's a difference between
is it not possible that someone was actually instigating, or some people were actually instigating these children to do that, knowing that they are little children? What will a little child be doing with Russian flag or the military flag? How come they know that they need to carry those flags?
Yes, it was a plan work. I think the person that was they arrested like 5 to 6 tailors.
A tailor cannot, that is busy doing his business, cannot think of going to buy Russian flag and start sewing for people. Somebody must have given the contract to the tailor.
Yes,
the tailor is just someone that is sewing it.
I'm heading somewhere.
Okay.
He was paid. He was paid with new materials. They saw like 6 of them. I saw the pictures. They were arrested. So there is a particular group which we don't know. We don't know the person who hired them, who instigate them, who used his financial power to get those flags sewn and given to children and youth to go to the street and protest. So they were saying there's a difference between this military flag and the Russian flag. There are differences, just that the colors are also similar.
But I think the positioning of the materials are even different.
The colors.
So we will not really want to burden ourselves more on these issues. We are more concerned about the infringement of citizens' rights and the rest of them. Let's go to our judiciary. 2024, we had a lot of cases that have gone through the Supreme Court and maybe the lower courts, like conflicting judgments and the rest of them. Is the judiciary helping to uphold our democracy when it comes to rule of law? Are citizens losing faith in the judiciary, or we are beginning to see better changes in the judiciary?
We've already losing hope. The judiciary are not doing what they're supposed to do. They are the main pillars when it comes to rule of law. They are the main pillar when it comes to what? Rule of law. Let me take you back to October, when local government election was held in Kaduna State. Should I say held? No. Nothing like election. We were waiting for ballot paper at the polling unit so that we can vote and go. Around 5 or 6 in the evening, no polling unit was given a ballot paper No, nothing happened. Around 6:37, social media that APC cleared all 23 local government in Kaduna State, both councillors and what? And chairmen. Both councillors and chairmen. So like five chairmen of the local government try their possible best to see that if they can be able to go to the court, push the case, and they were denied. I think a barrister asked them not to even start because they can't withstand the government of the day. If rule of law is really working in this country, and if the judiciary are doing what they are supposed to do, I think all these things will not even start. Nobody will start thinking of manipulating election. But because they know if they manipulate and they push the case to court, they use their resources. They will buy the what? The judiciary. So our judiciary is corrupt more than the government. I'm not afraid to say this. The judiciary is what? Corrupt more than our government.
Okay, the judiciary is part of the government because we have three arms of government. So,
Yes. When I say
so
the government, I mean
you're
those
actually
in
referring to
power.
the legislative, I mean
Yes,
the executive arm of government. We have the legislative
yes, the
arm, then we have
executive
the
arm.
judiciary, and
Yes.
now the okay, just by the way. And that takes us to the issue between the activist and the Afeba Balola case that is
Okay.
everywhere on the social media.
Mm,
He wrote a book about the judiciary, just as you said that the judiciary is corrupt, and he
mm,
said something about Afeba Balola, and a lot of people have been calling, even the the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 election has even gone to like broker peace between both camps and the rest of them. But a lot of people feel the judiciary is actually part of what is happening, using the police to intimidate and detaining somebody unlawfully, denying them bail when you're supposed to denying them bail for bailable offense. So what's your
mm.
take on this matter?
Though I am yet to have time to go to glance that book or to know the main issue with Afe Babalola, right?
Yeah.
I'm yet to do a research on that. But as I said earlier, when someone is trying to say the truth about the government, is trying to expose in Nigeria, when you're trying to expose the negative side of the government, you can't succeed because the judiciary are supposed to what? Support, push to see that what you're saying, is it true? Is it true? The book, I believe the book that he wrote is much more talking about the government, right?
Yeah. He talks about the judiciary, how corrupt the judiciary is, and he happens
Yes,
to mention Afebo Alola in most of the books and calling him like one of the major factors that corrupt the judicial system in Nigeria. But let's leave it at that, like just like you said. Let's go to River State. The issue between the 24 House of Assembly member and the governor is still there. Earlier on,
mm,
the appeal court asked the governor to go back and present the bill
mm,
to the House. And now everybody is asking which of the House should the governor go and present the bill to? Because on one hand,
mm,
the Fubara camp is saying those legislators are no longer legislators because they left their party and they lost
yes,
their seat
mm,
automatically. And the
mm,
other three members cannot form a a quorum or a
Quorum.
forum
Mm.
to preside over the affairs of River States.
Mm.
What was your? I know this is the case that is in court, so we may not go deep to know who is wrong and who
Deep.
is right, but just a
Mm.
view of what is happening to our judicial system. Why do we have this thing linger? Even the bill we are talking about, in less than 48 hours, 2024 is over. And you're asking someone to go and
Yeah.
represent the 2025 appropriation bill.
How will you
We,
start?
so this is what we are talking about.
Mm. I think these are just they are scheming. They are just scheming because, like you said, three members in the house cannot form a quorum. When other members are not have already defect, right?
Yeah.
They left their seat, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
That's what happened in River State.
So there's no I see. Master Pray, Nigeria need to be reset, and before Nigeria will be reset, we must be allowed to go about our what peaceful protest. I don't want to mention
Must we
the big.
protest? Can't we do these
I don't want to.
things?
I don't want to mention the bigger brother of protests.
Hmm.
The bigger brother of
The
protests. I
one
know
with
you
the
know it.
arrow.
Good. The one with the R and
Okay.
ends with what?
The
End. I
end.
don't want to mention it. Yes.
Because the government will not even want to hear that.
Yes.
They are
These are
scared of
things that
that.
they. Yes. These are things that they know this thing will not work, but
Hmm.
they will be pushing. They will be pushing so that they will make the other person feel stupid or feel useless. How will you start in less than 50 hours, like you said? We'll be in 2025.
25.
And I know most of the House of Assembly in various states and federal, they're already on what? They're on break.
Hmm.
And these are important issues. These are
Most of
important
them will
issues.
hurriedly even pass the 2025 appropriation bill into law by 31st night
Law.
to see that
Yes,
it becomes law by New Year.
by New Year. So I think
Okay.
that is
Yeah, just finish your thoughts on this one.
I think that is just a child's play. When I know this boy cannot write two, and I'll purposely ask him to write two, I know that he can't. So things that can't work, that is what the government of Nigeria are trying to do. And the
So
judiciary, which are part of the government, are also what? Helping to
now
change everything
have
negatively.
we have a situation where a lot of people this year seeking redress that they their their personality has been defamed, and before they even went to the courts, the police was always used to carry out the arrest and all those stuff. Of course, in some cases, they have to arrest them, now press for charges. But these people are
Mm,
detained beyond 24 hours and the rest of them. We're talking about the rule of law in Nigeria
yeah.
that state that
Mm,
you can't detain somebody more than 24 hours.
yeah.
But this is what we see. We have
Mm,
corruption cases where
mm,
a former governor will not, the EFCC will not be able to pick him up. Why? Because the governor is preventing them from doing so because the governor has
mm,
immunity.
yeah.
Now, someone came out to a leaked audio or video, whatever, saying he didn't spend time in prison. He was sentenced to prison for 6 months, but he was not in prison. And when this thing was leaked, the Falaners said they're going to sue Very Dark Man for it.
Mm,
Although I had a conversation with Mr. K. Crown, and he said they have actually started that case. So it was one that brought me up to speed that they are actually in court. But a lot of people feel like now Speed Darlington made some statement against Burna Boy, and Burna Boy too went the way of the police too.
Mm.
And we don't know if they are in court for any reasons now. I can't tell that from my end here. But I don't know if you have any update on that.
Burna Boy and
And Speedality, this the
okay.
entertainment
I
industry.
think when I was traveling back to my see my family, I was on transit. I glanced through, though network did not allow me to read through and get to the real part of the story. But I think they've started negotiating to see how they can come together and settle that issue. Because anything that has to do with all these celebrities is very important. Is very is always open. People like to know, dig about the story to know the real thing that happened. But I think they've started recently. They've started a discussion on how to see that they can settle their cause.
Okay, maybe out of court.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, out of court, out of court.
Oh, okay. We hope to see
Yeah.
that. So now
Mm,
we've looked at some issues in 2024. We talk about the Burna Boy, we talk about the Bobrisky and the rest of them. We have less than 7 minutes to round up this conversation. So let's look at 2025. What are your projections? What are the things that the government should do so we don't see the kind of massive protest that we saw and a lot of life lost? We've
mm,
seen people going to take rice for during charity distribution and they lost
mm,
their life.
mm,
And nobody is being persecuted. No one is taking responsibility. It seems the
mm,
government is trying to hold some people as scapegoats, and a lot of people are calling on the government that the government should take responsibility because of the
mm.
state of the economy. You know, such people will not
Yeah.
find themselves in such situation. So, what should we
Mm.
be looking at in 2025? What should we do to prevent most of these things?
I think in Nigeria, there are only two things that we need to what? Look at it critical. And once we get it right in those two things, other things will fall in line. One, our petrol, PMS, price of what? PMS. Then number two, if we can tackle, um, if we can have food security, if my next neighbor who is poor can afford a bag of rice in the space of 2 months, a bag of rice in the space of 2 months, then I think things will be what? Better. That stampede happened because when you have food in your home, nobody will even say palliative, Christmas gift. When we're growing up, I don't know anything about palliative. I think the name of palliative came during what?
Why?
COVID, right?
Yeah, during COVID. That's when it
Am I
became
right?
popular in Nigeria.
During
Yeah.
COVID,
I think most of
yes,
us
the
got
name
to
came
know
popular.
that word during the COVID.
Yes. So when we have sufficient food, when the government makes sure that we have sufficient food, nobody will go out and gather that somebody want to give you palliative to the extent that they cause what stampede. So if the government can take what agriculture very important, make sure that they supply um their citizens with what fertilizer. If I can be able to farm today and get 1 bag of maize, a bag of rice, a bag of beans, I'm okay. Are we together?
Yeah.
And my neighbor
Yeah.
can afford that. My neighbor also can do that. Cool. If he cannot farm, he will purchase from those that what? Farm. So agriculture and what?
You have
Um
talked about
petrol,
energy. You have talked about food
energy.
security. I think
Good energy,
there is one that must back food sufficiency, as in that's security. There are people
security.
that are willing to go
I,
out
I,
to farm, but are their
and
lives secured? When they
and
go
very
and
important,
plant those things, will someone not take his livestock to come and feed on them? So
very
what's the word now that they use for to graze
grace,
on them? Yeah.
very important. Like me, this year I farmed what? Beans. Okay. I farmed beans and also millet. You know millet? Those small grains, greenish in color. But at the end of the day, the millets, grazers went and put in their animals in. They grazed all the millet that I had. And the beans, part of the beans, they also what? Graze on it. So security is very important. I think in part of southern part of Kaduna State, that's the most how will I put it? That's the most recurring thing that is happening. This morning there was herdsmen kidnapped five and killed one in southern Kaduna in the area of community called Padankaji this morning at about 5:30 a.m. in the morning.
Mm.
So when there is security, there is energy, sufficient energy, affordable, and our agricultural aspect is think nobody won't think of if the politicians are stealing money, they will not think of that. They will not bother themselves because the most important thing is for you to have what 3 square meal. When you
Food,
have that, you're good to go.
shelter, and
Simple.
security. Okay,
Yes.
I think you've done justice to our conversation today. We'll look at the rule of law in Nigeria, the situation in 2024, and our projection for 2025. And you
25.
highlighted energy, you highlighted agriculture and security. If these three things are put in place, the rate of crime will reduce in the country and the citizens will be happy. So there'll be no need for them to go out there to be protesting because the protest that we actually saw in 2024 is actually hunger strike, hunger protest.
Hunger strike. Yes. Hunger protests and bad
So
governance.
it was actually food insufficiency that created that
Mm.
particular protest. So we don't want to
Mm.
progress from that one to other protests. So in your parting words, what are your wishes for Nigerians and yourself for 2025?
Um, Let me start for Nigerians. I wish Nigerians in 2025 to be what? More productive. To be more productive and always be conscious of where you go and what you discuss with people. Because going into the new year, I'm seeing negative happenings because the economy will be more harsher if the government did not adjust from how they implement policies. And for me and my family, I'm wishing my family a better 2025. And also must pray with your family. I'm wishing you a better 2025, more than what we we saw in
24.
2024.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chabanya, for making it possible to be on set with me. So look at the rule of law in Nigeria in 2024. Indeed, we need to put things in order for 2025 to be better. The president has presented his 2025 budget and he says it's the budget of renewed hope and that Nigerians will begin
Renewed
to
hope.
see the benefits of his reforms. We pray and hope that we actually see those things. With the functioning of the Dangote refinery and the Port Harcourt refinery,
Port Harcourt
so we've
refinery.
been doing back and forth with if it's operating or it's not operating. Early this morning, I saw a projection that dollar may hit 1,800 next year. And I was wondering, they told us that when the Dangote refinery come on stream, that will reduce the need for dollar and the naira will be able to be strong. Not only that, we have Dangote now, we have the Port Harcourt refinery. So I wonder why
Yes, yes,
the
yes.
dollar is still being projected to be going more higher in 2025. But that's the much we can take today. My name is Priya Frederick, and this is Retrospect, looking at 2024, reviewing everything that have happened in 2024, the areas that we could not touch on. We'll continue to look at them maybe by January. So, Mr. Chabanya, thank you very much for your time.
Thank
And
you.
our listeners and viewers all across the world, thank you very much for investing your time with us on City Report. Please like our page, comment on our posts. We want to improve. We can highlight areas we need to improve upon, and also give us your support so we can continue to do better. Thank you very much. And once again, goodbye. Have a beautiful 2025 in advance. I think this is the last session we have for 2025. And in 2024, then we'll see you by 2nd of January for another set of retrospect with Mr. Praise God Frederick Obua. On behalf of the City Report crew, Mr. Chabanya, good night.